Hey, this is Bri Cobb, creator of Living Her Next Phase. You can find me here on YouTube or on my podcast, Apple, SoundCloud, Google, or Spotify. And today's episode is focusing on the women who are sending their teens off to college. Yes, ladies, it is that time. It is time to send your babies off. And I'm sure it is a very emotional time for you. And you are focusing on so many things, right? Everything's going through your mind. Are they prepared to handle basically adulthood, right? They're going to be on their own. So, my message to you today is that you have to know that everything you've taught has laid a foundation for them and they are prepared. Your job is not done. You're never done as a mom, but know that everything you have taught them will stay with them. I know that emotions are high, but I'm going to ask you to do one thing. I'm going to ask you to put all that you have to do for your kids aside and plan your next phase. What are you going to do when your baby is off to college? If it's your only child, that means you're going to have a lot of time on your hands. How will you use it? How will you thrive in this next phase of your life? If you have other children, that means you'll have still more time, not 100% of your time that you can reclaim, but still more time. How are you going to use it? I encourage women to be more selfish. Basically, practice selfishism. And what that is really owning the fact that this is your next phase and you're going to prioritize yourself over all else so that you can serve everybody else better. Now, I will say that I too am in the process of sending a child off to college. I've been through this once before and I'm here again. Number one, actually went to school abroad. And that was emotional. I'll tell you a little story. And it helped me make the decision to allow him to go abroad. My son plays soccer, and he decided in his freshman year in high school that he wanted to play abroad. Well, I won't say he decided. He stated that it's something of interest, and he asked me, would I allow him to go? Now, he didn't even include my husband in this particular conversation. It was just with me. And I had said to him, by the time you leave to go off to college, you will be technically an adult. So I can't stop you. So I'll support you as much as I can. Lo and behold, his journey took him in that direction. He got recruited to play abroad, as well as to attend college. Now, I tell you that to say, with all the encouragement I gave him to say, you have to do this. This is your destiny, right? You mentioned it in your freshman year. We did not actively pursue it, yet it came about 3 years later. That means you were destined to do this. This opportunity may not come about again. So yes, you must go. And I will say to you, a couple of nights before he was scheduled to leave, I had a meltdown. It was natural. Regardless of where he had chosen to go to school, I knew I was going to be emotional. But I had to sit back and think, I'm sending my baby, my firstborn, off to go to school on another continent. So emotionally and mentally, I had a meltdown. I was freaking out. But I had to think about what was best for him. And at some point, I had to really sit back and think about what was best for my son and how he was going to thrive and become and grow up, right? Become a real adult and grow up quickly, which he did. But I had to tell you that story to share with you the state that I was in. But soon after, I had to think about it and say, wow, I finally have more time. Because for many moms out there, when your child is involved in competitive sports, then you know that your time is not your own. You are on a field or at a gym, if they're playing basketball or somewhere, and all of your time is devoted to them. You're traveling anywhere, everywhere, every weekend. So all of a sudden, I found myself having free time every weekend. It took me a little bit of time, several weeks, and I started to think, this is a great thing. I actually can do more of what I wanted to do. I started getting my nails done again, scheduling appointments to take care of me, started working out again because now I had more time and I wasn't as tired all the time. My husband and I started dating again, and it led me to really start focusing on what I wanted to do. And yes, I have a business and I'm a branding expert and digital marketing strategist, but I also wanted to podcast. So I had started a podcast back then, which has evolved into this one. And again, under the same name, Living Her Next Phase. So you can chat with me there if you like to as well. But bottom line is, I had to take time to figure out who I was and who I am now and who do I want to be. Sans kids. My kids will always be my kids. I'll always be there to support them. But with another one off to college, and she's my last one, my husband and I are on our own, which means we can do whatever the hell we want to do, which means I can do whatever the hell I want to do. So all the things that I've put on hold, I am now going to live. I am now going to actually do the things that I've talked about for so long. And I encourage you to do the same thing. And now's our time, right? So when I talk about celebrating selfishism and practicing selfishism, I mean, do just that. Don't ponder what they're doing, where they are, how they're doing. Of course, you'll think about those things, but it's for you now. You've given them the tools to succeed. Now it's your turn. Again, what do you want? So until the next episode, I want you to really think about that. Do a dream dump. And think about, as 2021 is basically upon us, what do you want to accomplish during this time? So yes, you're making a plan for your kids to go off to college, but you should also simultaneously be making a plan for what you want to do. What is your next phase? Till next time, this is Bri Cobb signing off.